What's up, everybody? It's Jordan or Guarsenio, whatever. Welcome to the brand new 2 Minutes to Late Night podcast, Festival Shmestival. It's about designing your own music festival based on your recently played in your Spotify or your Apple Music. This is going to be a podcast that's exclusive to the 2 Minutes to Late Night Patreon, but we're giving away the first episode for free just to see if you like it. If you're a fan of me and Drew bantering and talking about the same 7 bands over and over again, you're gonna love it. This is for you. But also, eventually, each episode is gonna feature a different musician guest that you've seen either on a 2 Minutes episode or on a bedroom cover. All right, that's it. Enough of me talking. Here's the thing.
It's Festival Shmestival, starring Jordan Olds, Drew Kaufman, musical guest, no one, it's just them. It's the first episode. Calm down. Have fun.
Surprise, we're recording.
Oh, hell yeah.
Hey.
All right, folks, listen up. We got a new podcast. It's Drew and Jordan from 2 Minutes to Late Night. We're doing a new podcast for you, but it's I think it's going to be something that's going to be more fun. I already like saying the name.
Festival Shmestival.
Ugh,
we thought of that name 1 minute ago.
We did. We Googled Fantasy Festival, and as I was Googling, because that was going to be the original name, I was like, there's no way that something already isn't called this.
It's a festival that's not music, but it's like a Comic-Con kind of thing, and it's in Florida, which means they will sue us.
They will sue us, and also, weirdly, it's the one festival in Florida where no one is having sex.
That's incorrect. Wherever there's porta potties, people are having sex in Florida.
That's true. It's just the people having sex in the porta potties are like, what do you think's going on in there?
Yeah. God. You remember in Jackass when they would do anything with a porta potty? That always grossed me out so much.
I know. They do that in wrestling a lot too. They do a lot of like tipping the porta potty over spots. And I'm just like, even if this is a cleaned porta potty, at one point, it probably wasn't.
No.
I don't believe, if you showed me a porta potty and you were like, this has never been used, I wouldn't believe you enough.
No, and especially like WWE, you know, they're not shelling out the money for a new porta potty. They're renting. Dude,
they're yelling at their like new The Rock, who is a woman, for getting pregnant right now. They did not clean the porta potties.
All right, and we're just under 2 minutes, and we've already talked about shit. Shit.
Look, all right. So this is going to be a new podcast. This is a Patreon only podcast. So thank you for joining the Patreon. And we want to do something involving music that wasn't like reviewing music or being negative, because I think we got really burn out of doing like a weekly episode where we had to be like mean about art. It's really, I don't know, like I don't know how this. I mean, how did this get made? Gets a lot of money. If you paid me a lot of money, I would probably keep doing it, but that's not the case. So
no, I feel like the important thing is that like we're mean to each other because we're friends, but we don't want to be mean to artists, especially musicians. Right. And you know, there definitely are a lot of examples of bad art. There people have made a lot of money on them, and we've kind of covered all of them. And now at this point, anybody left to be insulted doesn't make enough money to be insulted. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I don't feel bad about Metallica.
Yeah. But it's also, I think, like I realized that I turned a corner when we were doing the podcast. Like I realized, like through actually making the show, because we do covers. We have so many different types of musicians being a part of these covers. It's a lot of like transformative stuff. I've like learned to like, to find like appreciation, especially for artists that I at one time didn't. Like we did Led Zeppelin on the show, and now I didn't really like Led Zeppelin for a long time because I associated them with being just like a t-shirt from Target. And now I'm like, I'm like kind of, I think through what we're doing or whatever, or maybe it's just because I'm almost 32 years old, I'm kind of finding things I like about everything. Like, I don't know. I'm still not like a huge Tool song fan, but they have a fucking sick drummer. What are you going to do?
Yeah, I think what Jordan's trying to say is, John Bonham, come on the podcast, man.
Yeah, John Bonham, please.
What are you doing? What are you hiding from?
Speaking of people that could only exist in the plane via a hologram at a festival, let's talk about the concept of this show. This show is going to be about inviting people on and talking to them about a festival that they wanted to design themselves, like based on, like if they had control, but also throwing a little bit of chaos in there. They got to pick 10 bands from the recently played section of whatever audio platform they use. Most people are going to be using Spotify, but a lot of people are doing the correct thing and hating Spotify. And Apple Music has a version of that, I'm assuming. But I feel like the recently played section of anyone includes stuff that they love, but also like random things that they forgot that they listened to.
Absolutely.
So it'll be a fun catalyst to the idea.
Yeah, because I mean, the reality is, we don't want to ask somebody like, oh, line up your festival, and everybody's just going to be like naming the biggest and greatest bands of all time. Because we get it. You got to make money. Yeah. You want to sell tickets to your imaginary festival, and that's cool. But, give another band a chance, especially if they're not a real band, they're a Disney soundtrack because your child was using your computer.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what we want. Yeah, and also I feel like a lot of the time, like we'd have guests and they'd give their like the record store clerk answers where they're like, oh yeah, I'd have T-Rex, and then I'd have they like premeditate, like they pick like everyone's favorite hardcore bands and whatever. They'd only pick like it would be Bad Brains and David Bowie and Descendants over and over and over again.
Yeah. So here are some of the rules. We're going to lay it down real quick for you. So basically, today we're going to interview Jordan. We're going to find out what's happening at Jordan Fest, and we're going to find out when is it happening, how many days is it happening, who are the 10 people that are going to be playing this festival from Jordan's recently played, but also 10 people that he can choose at random. But there are some rules. Number one, you only get one reunion. So pick wisely. If you get a band that has not played a show recently, you got to pick wisely. Two, you get one hologram. So if you want to see somebody who's no longer with us, you only get one. But since it is a fantasy, we are letting you have one. Since, Roy Orbison and all that junk is happening, I think it's perfectly possible that holograms are the future. Number three, I already forgot number three. What was the third rule? Well, third rule, no editing.
Yeah, no editing. I think also you got to pick. You also have to pick the food that is served at your festival,
where it's at, what time of the year it is, what day it is, how many days is it. Is parking mandatory? Camping? No, I'm just kidding. I don't know. I mean, if you want to pick that, but also I think that really comes down to the fact that there are so many festivals and there are so many different ways of having them, and hopefully this like sparks some memories. Especially, we're going to be interviewing people that played in bands, and they're going to tell us about festivals that happened in Shinjuku at in the middle of December in a snowstorm versus like playing a desert in July. So I think like everybody has some kind of a festival experience. Even someone like me who actually hates music festivals and they give me a lot of anxiety, I still do have a lot of good memories, and I hope to never go to one again except for my festival and Jordan's festival, and whatever festival will pay for 2 minutes to late night to be there. Yeah,
then we gotta go.
Oh, I just remembered rule number three. Rule number three is Andrew WK has to play because he plays at every festival.
Right, yeah, for sure. Okay, yeah. Andrew WK. But you can, I think the other piece of the show is you have to like figure out the schedule, like who plays against who. So even though Andrew WK is playing, he can be used as a, so you can see everybody you want. You can use Andrew WK to play in a slot, so you can see your favorite bands back to back.
Andrew WK is absolutely a good free space because he could play at any time. He's an absolute curveball. He could close out a festival. He could open a festival. It could be during the middle of the day so that you don't have to worry about on Sunday missing your favorite band. And by the way, we just improvised this Andrew WK thing on the spot right now, and I love it.
I love it too. Also, you can decide if it's you can decide the time gap based on like if he's doing a DJ set, just him on a piano, or him with like the Mighty Mighty Boss Jones or whoever is his backing band.
Yeah. Or one of those crazy like sets that he's doing for, like a stunt set that he'll do, like where he decides that he's going to play drums for 24 hours. And you're like, okay, great. I guess that's happening over in the tent by Wiffle Ball.
God damn it.
Also, there's Wiffle Ball at my festival.
Yeah, for sure. Okay. All right. Well, let's get into it. We already started talking. I'm not a huge music festival guy. Like I want to love them, but I don't know. I've grown to have a lot of anxieties about a lot of different things. And, when I go to like a festival that's like a couple of days, I'm like, oh my God, I gotta like try to go to sleep in a hotel full of maniacs. And, I'm never sure like what I'm going to eat or whatever. So my festival is going to be a 1-day festival.
Jordan Festival. 1 day. When is it, bud?
I want to name my festival just Jordan's Boat. It is my favorite. I have a playlist on Spotify that's all yacht rock, and just anytime I hear Jordan's Boat, the songs on it, and now I guess just the saying, I feel good. So it's called Jordan's Boat. That's my festival. My favorite time. Oh,
is it on a boat? Are you going to do it on a boat?
I'm not going to do it on a boat because I got seasick one time with my dad and my brother going fishing, and my brother's a huge fishing guy and like didn't give a shit that the boat was getting its ass kicked by waves, and I threw up the McGriddle I ate, and that is the only time that I've eaten a McGriddle because I can't. I have trauma from McGriddles.
Well, I guess there's no McDonald's sponsorship then. Well, I bring it up because there's the Paramore Cruise, which is like actually a cruise ship type festival where they're playing on the deck and you can see them and you're aware that you're in the water. And then there's like an Every Time I Die boat show where they play in what's essentially like an AOH hall, but it's just like the lower area of a boat. And those are always really cool. I personally haven't been to one, but I've seen photos of them and I know they're crazy and people destroy the boats. Were you at one?
I saw an Every Time I Die show there on a boat, and Jordan Buckley went through the roof. He got crowd surfed through the roof, and it ruled. And I don't think they planned to do it, but they just kept breaking parts of the boat, and they were like, fuck. And then they started signing, they were selling like signed pieces of the broken boat to like try to get the money that they had to pay back. It ruled. I love it. But that's the maximum amount of time I could spend on like a boat show, I think, was just like the 3 hours that was the ET thing. It's got to be, if it's a fest, it's an all day thing. And I think it's one big day.
One big day. So Jordan's Boat Festival is more of like a yacht rock celebration. Where is it and what time of the year?
Well, I think it's just called Jordan's Boat, even though there isn't going to be much boat. I don't think it'll be nautical themed, but
sure, of course.
If I'm going to be outside all day, I want like a nice temperature. I don't always love the concept of like getting cooked in the summer. And I think that leaves like kind of 2 months open. You can either go Miss Congeniality and do April, or you can do. I'm going to pick September because I want to be like, I want it to not be freezing. I don't want to be dying in the sun. I want to go to a music festival in a jean jacket.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? That's what I want. I want to wear pants. I don't want to be, because when you're in a summer music festival and you're just wearing shorts, the shorts look like shit at the end of the day. I don't know what is going on. Like, you rolled up the cutoff part of the jeans and it turns into like a parallelogram of just like weird grime. It's not my favorite. So I'm going like a mid-September.
Mid-September. So you're just slightly after Riot Fest. So you're not competing for time, but potentially you are for money, depending on where would you have it.
So I'm realizing that like a lot of the artists that I would love, because of course, if you know me, two artists that I'm gonna have to have on this festival are Robin and Velertok. And I feel like if I'm going that route, it's got to be in Scandinavia.
Interesting.
So it's going to be a Euro. It's going to be a Euro festival.
But you're not at the same time as most Euro festivals. So the people who would be going to Euro festivals, it's possible that they could be like, fuck it, we'll go in April, we'll go in September too, because most of those are in the spring season. So, you know, if there's one thing that those Vikings know how to do, it's how to enjoy like a not very hot day.
Yeah. It's not too hot today. I've actually been
It's not too hot today.
It's not too hot today. Oh.
Maybe I will wear my hat with the horns and not worry about the sweat running down my brow.
I can put my umbrella on it. Ooh. But I've actually been to a music festival in Sweden. I was in Stockholm.
Oh shit.
In like 2008, and my brother and I were really bored one day. It was like a family trip. My dad had like business out there. He's like, I'm getting flown to Sweden. Do you want to come? And we were like, yes. That sounds weird. Let's do it. And so me and my brother were really bored, and I saw that there was a music festival that had it had like Queens of the Stone Age and like Foo Fighters and just like a ton of stoner metal, and it was really fun. And we just went, and it was just like Heineken and like hot dogs, and it was all in like the grass on like, it was just like a grass festival on like the hills, and I'm like, this is exactly what I want. Yeah. This is what I want from it. I just want like basic. That's the food. The food I want is like you're getting hot dogs. You're getting sauerkraut, that kind of a thing. Like you can get a turkey leg if you're that guy, but I don't eat meat anymore, so there's beyond business.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sounds easy. I mean, I have been to Sweden, and I wasn't there for a music festival, but it seemed to mostly be Heineken and hot dogs when I was there, period. So Heineken hot dogs, great. So I think now that we've got most of the details hammered out, I'm probably going to buy my ticket to Jordan's boat. It's in a cool part of the world. Heineken hot dogs. I don't drink, but I'll eat plenty of hot dogs, and I'm gonna be comfortable. So let's get into these 10 artists that we have to have. So keep in mind, these are coming from Jordan's Spotify recently played. You host another show, which is Last Words. It's for the Pit, Warner Brothers metal website, and so you have to listen to a lot of new bands in order to review them and talk about them on the show. So there might be some stuff on here that's actually really, really new and hot. So hopefully something that you listened to for that show bled over. I know that I just listened to one that I really, really loved.
Yes, and they're going to make it. So, all right, here's what I have on my recently played. So I'm looking at it right now, and I think what I'm gonna like force myself to just to include the last 10 artists that I listened to.
Okay.
So we got Every Time I Die is playing this festival in Sweden in September.
Yeah.
Well, I was weird. I wasn't like trying to do spin kicks in my living room. I was actually trying to show. I was trying to find this riff on from Parts Unknown that has like a specific octave pedal sound, and I was trying to send it to our mixer because in the cover that's actually going to be coming out on Monday, the cover fuck it, they'll know what it is now. For the Rocket Queen cover.
Yeah. Keep in mind, anybody listening to this is paying us money, so I'll tell you whatever you want, baby.
Yeah, whatever you need. You have a question. You're like, what does Steve Brodsky's hair smell like? I'll fucking tell you.
It's good. It smells real good.
It smells great.
Yeah.
It smells wise and clean. But anyway,
nothing as good as Ben Kohler's, but
no. But that's he's a L'Oreal commercial. What do you expect? Yeah. Ben's hair smells like a Crate and Barrel. But anyway, I was trying to find this specific. I was just like searching through a bunch of the songs. So Every Time I Die are default on my festival, but I would want them there anyway because they're very silly boys. I hope that one of their band members has like a birthday on the day of the festival because I like that they throw a bunch of cake in the audience every time that it's someone's birthday.
Yeah, we were at that show. You and I were at that show at Webster Hall. It was Andy Williams' birthday, and they kept bringing out cakes. Like they would bring out a chocolate cake, and they're like, "Happy birthday, Andy!" And then they would pretend to trip and fall and throw it in the pit.
Yeah,
and they did it 3 times, and just people were slipping on cake. It smelled like chocolate. It was disgusting. People were picking up and throwing it. It was one of the funniest things I've ever seen.
I thought that I was like, they are going to destroy Webster Hall. We're going to watch this building fall apart, and it's going to be covered in birthday cake. Yeah. It's going to be like Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, but with all of them are wearing gym shorts.
Yeah, and then watching people like outside of Webster Hall after the show was over, just like standing outside, just like with like chocolate doo-doo all over themselves. It was so gross.
It was just like doo-doo and white paint. It's just It looked not unlike a tipped over porta potty.
The worst.
All
right, who else you got, Jordan?
Icing too. All right. Next up, we have Sleigh Bells. Obviously, because it was also for Rocket Queen research. I was trying to. Alexis has a very specific style that she mixes her vocals, and I was also sending that as an example to our mixer to be like, this is. I was sending him "I Can Only Stare" as like a good example of like sort of how to sit her voice in the mix.
Yeah, Sleigh Bells is also awesome live.
They're fucking awesome.
I saw them. Now their drummer is Chris Maggio from High on Fire, or was. I don't know if he's still in it.
It's you know what it is. It's also not unlike Andrew WK. It just depends on what the tour is.
Yeah.
But we saw him tear him up when we were at Riot Fest with him.
We did see him at Riot Fest. That's right. Yeah. I actually saw them at the Williamsburg waterfront when they used to do free shows there in like 2011, right after their first album dropped. And they were gigantic because they were from Brooklyn. Like I think the story goes that like Alexis was a waitress, and the dude from Poison the Well got in a conversation. Derek, thank you. Got in a conversation with her, and that's how they started. But they were like, they're like from. They got started in Williamsburg, so it was like a big deal that they were playing this huge free show on the waterfront, and it was awesome. They have a full back line of they had a drummer and they had another guitarist, and it's like it was really, really cool, and it was really loud. It was awesome.
Yeah, they have such an odd genre mesh of stuff. Like they're like all of their singles sound like completely different, which is really cool. Like, they have the one that's like a remix of or a sample of Funkadelic that does not sound like I Can Only Stare, which is like Jessica Rabbit is the album that I got really into them
Jessica
on.
Rabbit, it's so good.
It's such a good fucking album. And I love the clash of like that. Like, I feel like Sleigh Bells is probably a starting point of like how we kind of got to Post Malone Ozzy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. Like that dirty, like guitar sound mixed with the pop music. I love it. Love them. Alexis, thank you for being on the Rocket Queen cover and trusting our song selection. Also,
Yeah.
the coolest dog. I've never wanted my to have like a dog play date with anyone more than that fucking bull terrier. I love it.
Oh, she's got one of those like classic bull terriers, like
With the brindle.
yeah, like the Little Rascals gang, right?
Yeah, it's real Frankenweenie hours, but with Jennifer. They look like they're cousins, so I'm like, family reunion. We got to see what's going on.
Yeah.
Then, of course, this is all right. We're getting my big. I think this is my. I think this is my headliner.
Okay.
Is Van Halen.
Van Halen
Original lineup.
So that's your reunion because they don't play original lineup. So are you putting Michael Anthony back in?
I'm putting Michael Anthony back in. Wolfgang, you seem like a nice kid, but no, we need we need someone who's singing there.
Yeah. We need old goatee, not young goatee.
For sure.
Yeah. Dude, you know, it's funny. I watch all those music videos because obviously I do. And Michael Anthony, man, he puts on a show and he does the backing vocals. He's an integral part of a well-oiled machine, which is part of a well-oiled body, which is doing high spin kicks and accidentally busting his nose open with a microphone stand on Jimmy Kimmel. It's great. Yeah,
fucking rules. He is an integral piece of it because as we were by this time I'm assuming the Panama set has already come out, and like Heaney and I were talking about, you know, how simple a lot of the actual notes are in Van Halen songs, but it's really about like the precision of the rhythm really makes the song or breaks it.
Persimmon.
Cinnabon.
Cinnamon toast munch. I agree with you. Yeah, absolutely.
He's the harmonies. He's how you get those like angelic he's why like every chorus sounds so big, and like, you know, also from like having to kind of recreate the vibe of a lot of the golden harmonies, it's really just one harmony and then a gang vocal. It's like doubled. It's one harmony that's doubled, and then like the rest of it is like a gang vocal. So I think Michael Anthony is really the only one who's harmonizing.
I mean, it has to be now, because the other thing is, like, you know, if you listen to that first album and they're like in their 20s, that's before, you know, that's before Eddie smoked himself into Donald Duck voice and he can't hit those high notes anymore.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But all right.
Enough about Van Halen.
Why I think that they have to, in my heart, I want them to be the headliner.
Yeah.
But I also have, I'm going to just do the next two, because the one after, I have Shania Twain. On my recently played. Let's go. Well, I'm absolutely putting Shania Twain on my festival because I do want to see that. I'm sad about her politics, but you know, seeing on Drag Race, she I was like, she could still put on a fucking awesome show.
To be fair,
I want variety.
Yeah. And to be fair, Shania Twain is Canadian. So like her opinions on politics are about as equal as my opinions on Trudeau. You know, like I can't do anything about it. And she can't, it's not like she can vote for Trump because I don't think she's an American citizen.
I don't know either. I think she lives, but she might not. I don't know.
Dual citizenship. I don't know. Rich people are different. You know what I mean? Like once you get enough money, it's just like the laws bend. Completely unrelated, but I remember reading this story about Evangeline Lilly, who plays the Lot. She got hired to be on Lost, and they were going to film in Hawaii, and like she couldn't get a work visa or something, so she just had to get citizenship. And Like ABC pulled a bunch of strings and got her citizenship like a week before the show was supposed to shoot.
Damn.
And that doesn't happen. Like she didn't have to marry like an American and pretend they were in love for 3 years or anything, or take a test where she names like, you know, all of the president's middle names and what their favorite flavor of ice cream is. She just, you know, paid a lot of money and got American citizenship.
It's like
complete tangent.
Yeah, no, that's fine. That's what happens when you're run by like that creepy Israeli guy who runs Marvel or whatever.
Oh yeah, I mean this is even before that too. This is like ABC, which is like American Broadcasting Company. So that's just like really old, really, really evil money. You know, the kind of stuff that keeps the stuff that keeps Pat Sajak alive. That dude's still alive.
The black mold in the shower of television.
Pat Sajak, we're coming for you, bitch. We know you're on Epstein's Island.
So the next band I have to put on here is Guns N' Roses. And it doesn't have to be a reunion show because they're already back together.
They're already back together. So it's whatever lineup they're currently with.
Fuck, I can't give them Steve Adler. But you know, whatever. Steve, you deserve better. But that's the biggest question is because I also need this to be a festival that sells, and I'm already all over the place with every time. This is real. Mine is not going to be like a one genre thing. So I got to like really throw a lot of shit that people like. But is Van Halen the more marketable? Are they a more marketable headliner than Guns N' Roses? Because there wouldn't be a Guns N' Roses without a Van Halen. But I don't like Guns N' Roses in the
Guns
prime.
N' Roses is, I think, the greatest selling band of all time. I think
so too.
I mean, if you look at Van Halen, like Van Halen definitely is huge because they have a full 10 years ahead of Guns N' Roses. But Guns N' Roses is probably more popular, and not like not in a quality, but just in a numbers. You know what I mean? Like Guns N' Roses tours, and they sell out for 4 years. You know, every time Van Halen has done a tour, they really don't play that much. I mean, I remember when they played in 2015, we wanted to go, and they weren't playing in New York. The closest show was in Hershey Park, which would have been awesome because I love roller coasters and I love Van Halen. But I think Guns N' Roses not only are going to be your biggest draw, but they're also going to want the most money.
Yeah. I think so too. But then there's all of the, there's always talk of, I feel like we won't really know how a Van Halen appearance will do until it actually happens. Like, if they get Michael Anthony back in, then they get to say it's original Van Halen, and then you get just the concept of having, like, even though I don't think a lot of people give a shit about that, I think that just the title, like, its original lineup, Van Halen, can sell more. Because, like, Danzig and Doyle were playing, like, together all the time. But then you throw Jerry in there, and it's Madison Square Garden. You know what I mean?
To quote you, and one of the best jokes I think you've ever written, Danzig, Doyle, and the bald one.
I think it's the question of like, did I want to see? I did want to see Danzig and Doyle play together, but what I really wanted to see was the promise of like Danzig is just gonna sing the Misfits for 2 hours.
Yes, absolutely.
That's what I think that's what I was paying for.
If you had a Van Halen reunion, a proper Van Halen reunion, that means most likely they're not going to play anything post 1999. So I mean, they're probably not going to play any Hagar anyways. If they did a Van Halen reunion that was the best of both worlds with Sammy Hagar and David Lee Roth, I would be more psyched than just a regular old reunion, to be honest with you. Like, because I know that I would love every single song that they're going to play with David Lee Roth, but there is just something so special about crossing both of those off of my list, especially because if you've been watching Sammy Hagar's like Instagram, one, really fun dude. He seems like he's having a good time. And two, he does covers. He still can hit those notes. And I mean, even in his prime, David Lee Roth was all about spectacle, you know? But like,
sadly, well, I don't exactly know what's going on, but Sammy Hagar got in trouble.
No, what did he do?
He was like, he went off saying that COVID is the flu. So,
oh. Yeah, I mean, he's old enough to be in the, be a member of the Republican Party.
Cabo is a real place, and he lives there, and he doesn't know what the fuck is going on.
Yeah, damn. The Red Rocker, turns out he's also a Red State Rocker.
But I do think, you know what? I think that's what you do. No, I don't know if I don't.
It's your festival, your call. I was just making a suggestion.
You know what? I think I just want DLR Van Halen for a long time. I do submit that Guns N' Roses has to play above them, probably.
Absolutely.
I think just for a business sense.
Have you seen Guns N' Roses?
I have not. I was planning to go I wanted to go to the Axl AC/DC set, but I actually
really wanted to see that too.
Yeah. But yeah, I think we got caught up with, because I was going to go with like Nick and Ewelina, and then something kept me from being able to go there. I think it probably was. I think it was when we were going to shoot the Ghostbusters sketch.
Oh,
because it was on the same night.
Yeah. Damn.
For those who no one knows about this, we were going to shoot. In the first episode, we were trying to shoot because the Lady Ghostbusters movie was coming out, and we were going to shoot a sketch. We had written a sketch at the King's Theater where we were going to try to get we were going to have our own Lady Ghostbusters that go and try to they get like a call, and it's ghost. Basically the Ghostbusters would go and try to zap Ghost at a Ghost concert.
Yeah, and this was summer 2015, so actually it was before the Ghostbusters movie came out, so we would have beaten them to the punch. Ghost was huge, but it wasn't like as gigantic as they are now. Yeah, we were talking with them, they were down, and actually like we were in the process of like talking to, and this is actually before we even made the pilot, so this was going to be like for the pilot episode, and we were actually talking to like Ghostbusters impersonators, because this is 2015, so this is before the movie came out and before like you could get the costumes. When the movie came out, like
right,
you can get costumes everywhere, but so we were literally talking to people who like had their own homemade costumes and stuff. We were going to get female comedians to play the female Ghostbusters before this movie came out.
We were talking to A.D. Bryant about doing it.
Yeah, and it would have happened, actually. It was just they wanted so much money to film at the King's Theater. They wanted thousands of dollars that we didn't have.
Oh, yeah. You know what? It wasn't the King's Theater. It was Terminal 5. It was Terminal 5.
It was Terminal 5, yes.
Because we could shoot we were discussing whether we should shoot it anyway, because we could do the backstage area, which is why in the second episode, we have the Foxygen sketch with Hard Melissa, because we didn't shoot on the main stage we didn't shoot in the venue of Terminal 5.
Right.
But yeah, like the whole thing was going to be like, we were like, we don't want to do this sketch without having like merch booth jokes, like Ghostbusters in the mosh pit, crowd surfing and shooting at Ghost. Like we had a plan for After Effects. But anyway, that was just why I couldn't go see anyway, moving on.
Yeah.
All right. We got also, from Last Words. This band is from, I had to listen to them for like a new episode. Horizont. They're the
Dude,
last band I listened
they're
to.
so
That band
good.
is so fucking sick.
Yeah. By the time this comes out, hopefully I will have posted that Chef's Kiss. But man, they are so good. They're like an 80s style, not even 80s, just like classic rock, just the feeling of classic rock. And like when you listen to, I actually am a huge fan of Sheer Mag because they have a very specific cool sound.
Totally.
And this is different because it sounds like 1,000 bands at once. Every song is different. Like I was listening to the album literally today while I was driving around and taking photos, and every song just feels like a different band from that time period. Just like a classic rock masterpiece. So good.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. It feels
a little bit of Foxy Shazam too, and a little like it's like as equally Foxy Shazam as it is Boston and Blue Oyster Cult and all those bands.
Steely Dan. It feels
Steely
like
Dan's in there.
It feels like Steely Dan, but if Steely Dan was really just trying to have fun and not like challenge themselves all the time,
Yeah.
I think it's just cutting loose. Like if like Steely Dan had like the fun of the first Boston record, that's what Horizont sounds like. It's awesome.
Yeah, and Horizont, so their new album is called Sudden Death, and the album art is a hockey helmet with a knife stab through it. And so I listened to it thinking that it was going to be just like, like a Jean-Claude Van Damme hardcore, metalcore, like fucking beatdown festival. And instead I just got like a wonderful time driving through Southern California in my my Volkswagen van, which I don't own. This is the hypothetical feeling, because the other hypothetical feeling was that I felt good and I feel bad all the time.
Yeah, for sure. I'm sad too. Speaking of sad, I'm sad that I already used my reunion. The rule we forgot. God damn it! The rule is one album all the way through.
I thought we said that.
Dude, I don't know if we said that at the beginning.
If we didn't,
an album.
We meant it. That was. I am agreeing. This is not me covering for Jordan. That was one of the rules. You get to have one full album show, one reunion, one hologram. I think we said it, but okay. Sorry, moving on.
No, you're fine. All right. So what are we at? We're at six bands. So all right. Fuck, I can't use my reunion, but the next one is White Zombie because I was also just listening to White. Because this week that we're recording this, we just put out the White Zombie record or the White Zombie cover.
So you're reading these in order. You're not doing like any kind of skipping around, are you?
No, I'm
because you can skip around if you want.
Oh, I know. I think I'm seeing what it's like. I'm just I'm just sort of scooting around. I'm looking at it for the first time. So I'm just, White Zombie is on this. So what are my options here? Like, because I can't have, is it Rob? Am I allowed to just do Rob?
In this specific situation, I think you're allowed to do Rob because Rob Zombie played a couple of White Zombie songs. I don't know if he did a full album, but he definitely
did all of Astro Creep.
He did all of Astro Creep.
The Chicago Riot Fest.
The Chicago Riot. Yeah, I remember that was the year we wanted to go.
Yeah, well, I was like, we could try to switch and do the other Riot Fest in Chicago, but then it would be a pain in the ass trying to figure out where we would stay and blah 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 blah.
Yeah. We actually got invited to drive along with High Waisted. They were going to take us along in their van, which already had too many people. So I'm kind of glad we didn't.
I'm glad we didn't do it. I would have loved to see. It was really like the big difference was like, well, it's going to be an Astro Creep all the way through, and I'm like, that's a contender for like, because I never saw it. It is a contender for all that album all the way through.
Okay,
it's on the table.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so here's where it gets complicated next. Also because of I listen to this band all the time, but I also had to listen to this for Last Words, but Soundgarden. So I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm not going to do a hologram because I don't want to see. Here's the big thing. I don't want to see a hologram of like an artist that I respect. I want it to be funny because AI is so funny.
Yeah, agreed.
So there would be nothing. I don't think you would get a single thing out of hologram Chris Cornell. So Chris Cornell is not coming back from the grave to be a computer nightmare. He is not doing that. And that is what I think about holograms. I think they're computer nightmares, and I'm scared of robots, so I'm already like dreading what.
I think that means you have to skip because
No, I'm giving them a replacement singer.
Oh.
I think that's what I have to do. Is
okay.
They get
okay.
I like you don't that. Get ones. You don't get if you have like a dead person in a band. You can either hologram them, or I think you can get 3 replacement like slots. And I'm gonna have to do
you
that
get 2 replacements because that's how many people need to be replaced in the replacements.
Okay, yeah. You know what? I fucking
actually
love that.
I think one of them quit recently. So I think, yeah, you do get 3 replacements.
I'm gonna. And so for Rob Zombie, it's just Rob Zombie. For Soundgarden, I'm trying to think of like who I would give as a replacement singer.
Easy. Soundgarden plus Rome.
Plus Rome. Yeah. I think that
in my eyes. I don't know what Rome sounds like.
Oh, Soundgarden with Greg Puciato.
Holy shit, yes, that would rule.
I think it would be sick. I think Greg would knock it out of the park.
Plus, I've always wanted to see someone throw their own feces during Black Hole Sun.
Yeah, for sure.
Just kidding.
Yeah.
We know he doesn't do that anymore.
Black hole bum. Yeah.
Talk about your black hole.
But yeah, I think that he's just one of those. I think it's a toss up of like should I do? No, he should do Soundgarden because the other option would be Alice in Chains, and I like oh god, what's his name? The new guy in Alice in Chains. I think he does a great job. And
let me ask you this though, real quick. So in this hypothetical world where Greg Puciato is fronting Soundgarden, have you just set up people to be mad at Greg for doing it?
You know what? I think that people can. I don't know. I think it's complicated because it's the same thing with like Axl Rose AC/DC. It's like. I think that when you have someone established just kind of doing a set, like they're not in the band, like even Queen only does Queen and Adam Lambert, it's not I think that, I just would, I would want to, I think that's sort of what the problem with William Duvall in Alice in Chains is that people didn't know William from something else. And so they just see him as an actual replacement. But when it's like the members, when it's like a tribute show, which I think that the Greg thing would be, is like, they're close with Soundgarden. They were on the tour when Chris passed. So I think it's like, everyone would be, I think if people are dicks about Greg doing that set, I'm getting mad like it's actually happening. But no. No, I think that people would kind of respect the decision of the band and like the circumstance.
Yeah, it's interesting because now that I think about it, any of these type of situations, like, I mean, even like Axl Rose replacing Brian, what's his last name? Brian Johnson. Axl Rose replacing him. Like, it's weird that people would get mad about that 20 years, 30 years after Brian replaced Bon Scott. And I know that people were mad at the time, but the story goes that Bon Scott's dad was like talking to the Youngs and was like, hey, you have to keep doing this band. That's what he would want. I think it's interesting because I can't think of any situation where I personally am mad at any of these people stepping in, because obviously all of these other musicians need to keep doing music, and they are entitled to, because they wrote those songs too, and also they deserve to make an income. Musicians make money off of playing their music, and the only ones like I can think that I've actually have made me upset, I wouldn't say upset. I'm not a Sublime person, so I don't really care. I just think Sublime plus Rome is very funny.
It's so funny.
Because it's it is the same thing with Queen plus Christopher
Adam
Lambert. Adam Lambert. Queen plus Christopher Lambert. It's the Highlander. Which would make sense, actually, because Queen did music on the Highlander.
I do love that, yeah.
What a great idea. Someone call Brian May.
Fat body girls.
Where did you get this number from? But those things, I guess, I'm like, there's no way anybody can fill Freddie Mercury's shoes. And I don't know who Christopher Lambert is. Adam Lambert. I know Christopher Lambert is. Is he American Idol,
Lambert
right?
is American Idol. Yeah, I think he was the first like LGBTQ person to win.
That's cool.
And he's got the pipes for it. Apparently, I've never heard him or seen that thing, but I'm not.
I don't hate it. I just I don't know it, and I don't understand it. And honestly, I think that maybe the reason why someone in this hypothetical situation would be upset with Greg Puciato is that they don't know Dillinger Escape Plan, or they do, but they only have like the early memories of like Miss Machine era, where he's just like blah blah blah, before you can hear that he really can sing. He's got a great voice.
Yeah, well, they did Jesus Christ pose. Also,
yeah. But again, most people probably never heard that, especially if you think about like the reach of Soundgarden versus the reach of Dillinger Escape Plan. Sure, if you were making a Venn diagram, there's going to be a lot of crossover. But also if you were making a Venn diagram, that would look kind of like boobs.
Well, that's also just kind of like, I feel like I'm looking at it as like how like I kind of book the covers on the show. Like, sure. I'm like, it's got to be strategic, of who you pick. I don't think you can I think like why no one gives a shit about like Journey anymore is because they like hats off to that guy who took over. I don't know a lot about Journey. I just know that they like got a guy that sounds exactly like the original guy. And people were like, wow, for like a minute, we're like, wow, isn't this amazing that he like sounds exactly like that guy? Or you just get a random guy like Tim Owens for Judas Priest, where it's like, I feel like the difference is when it's like different when someone passes away as opposed to you fired somebody and got a new singer.
Right.
You know what I mean?
For sure.
Like with Alice in Chains, there was a passing, and they got a guy who can hit the notes but sounds different. I think William is a great like Lane like, because he's not a Lane replacement. He can do Lane songs in his way, but they also have new songs, and I think that that's just really cool. It's not. It's one of those things I prefer it to Lane Staley songs, but I'm like, this is fucking neat and a cool way to keep the band going.
Yeah, it's weird because I don't have a solid answer of like what is good and what is bad in this situation. It's extremely gray because it makes me think about Thin Lizzy and the Thin Lizzy reunion. They just got some guy who doesn't sound anything at all like Phil, and it should be fine because it doesn't sound like Phil. He's not doing an impersonation, but for some reason I'm just like, man, I wish they got somebody who sounded like Phil. That would have been cool,
Well, also, like, it's just Scott?
Yeah, I don't
and
even
then
know who's
other
in it.
folks. Like I feel like if that much of the band is gone, what's the point? And also with Thin Lizzy, you know, the band changed like every album.
Yeah.
Like it was Scott and it was Phil, and then it's just Scott, and now it's just it's bizarre what you attach your band name to, and it's like you
kind of
get like a Black Flag situation where it's like, what even is this? I feel like the real thing is like, I don't know, read the room, man. Like, like you can't really call it a Thin Lizzy reunion. I think that there's cool, like I think it's super cool that like Troy from Macedon got to do like a Thin Lizzy set with Scott, and I think that whips ass. Like absolutely do that kind of a thing. But I think you gotta like in that type of situation where it's just like the name is attached to like one person who isn't like the front of the band, and there's like I feel like everybody kind of knows, who is the iconic member of the band. And even in a Van Halen situation, you sometimes have that where it's like, all right, it's two people. Two people are integral to this piece.
You know what bugs me about the Thin Lizzy thing, and I figured it out, is that if you go on Spotify, there's like 17 new live albums. Like they wrote new songs, which is like, okay, I guess you're entitled to do that. But there's so much new Thin Lizzy, like really just like oversaturated. And I think that, I mean, if these guys want to write new music and release it, I think that's cool too. But I also think that using the moniker of a band when it's not that band anymore, it's a gray area. I mean, I think that it should be, I don't know. The Thin Lizzy one is just like egregiously overdone. Whereas like one of the better things that I've seen in this vein is I saw Andrew WK, who will be performing at Jordan's Boat, by the way.
Right.
I saw him and Marky Ramone do a Ramones set. And they just did like 40 Ramones songs nonstop, and it was awesome. And even like Marky Ramone, he's the last surviving Ramone, but he barely was in the Ramones, I think he was their third drummer. He was only in it for a little bit. And Marky, you know what? Good for him. He's the last living one, and like I think it's dope that he's doing it, and I think he has as much right to play those songs as anybody. But they didn't, I don't know if they did if they did an Andrew WK and Marky Ramones set, I think that would be dope, like a CD, But I think it's like if they released it just as the Ramones, the same way that these folks are releasing Thin Lizzy, then I think I would have a problem with it.
All right. Well, since it's I'm going to take a break from my recently played, and I'm going to put in my Thin Lizzy set because they're also top. Like Van Halen is the number one, and they're just like a little bit beneath. And now that you've put this challenge to me, I think I figured out a way that I would maybe want to see them. I would because I remember the most excited people were about hearing about Thin Lizzy for a long time was because Troy's on bass. So Troy is back on bass for this set. I think the biggest thing you can do for Thin Lizzy is to get another iconic guitarist in there who was a part of it. So it's, even though it's like not technically a reunion, you put Gary Moore back in there from the Black Rose, because Gary Moore was in the band for Black Rose. He's one of the most famous guitar players, and it just puts the Irish kind of back in there. I think I love. I don't really know a lot of like people who would be attached for drums on this, but I'm going to put Joey Castillo because he's sick. Yeah, and he's been in every fucking band, and I'm just always excited to see Joey Castillo doing something. Mm-hmm. And I think that you have a front person with like a little bit of swagger and a rasp, and you could get a vibe that's kind of like Thunder and Lightning vocally. Honestly, I'm putting Baisley on vocals.
Ooh, I like this.
Right? Okay. So you got Scott, you got Gary Moore, who can sing and play guitar. You got Troy, who can sing and play guitar, and his rasp, I think, would mix nicely with the John Baisley rasp, and you have Joey Castillo on drums. That's a Thin Lizzy set that I would want to see.
So that is your first of 10 picks from your dream team.
Yeah, this is the first like dream team, not from the recently played.
Okay, how many recently played do you have left? Because I lost count around the time that I turned my air conditioning off.
We got all right, we got 7, 8. So I got 2. I got 2
you got
more.
2 left. What's
I got
left?
2 left. So what's happening next is okay, this is another one I have to replace because Rush is next. And I'm not a Rush person.
Yeah.
But I listen to Rush because of conversations. And I was listening to Rush's first album, and so that's why they're on there. Is because I was talking to somebody about maybe doing a Rush thing on the show. Whatever, who cares? But
Actually,
I don't know.
I think a lot of people
Rush.
listening might care. But
okay,
yeah.
cool. Well, I mean, it's who cares that I'm giving away a secret?
Okay. I thought you meant like.
There might be Rush on 2 Minutes to Late Night. It's not confirmed yet, but I'm just like trying to get it in. So for me, I would book Rush as like a big name, but I would book them against like one of the bands that I would use them as sort of a like they're playing at the same time as one of the bands that I really want to see.
Well, okay,
to add a little bit.
So here's actually, we didn't talk about this, but I think this is fair. You are allowed to do a cover set. I think that's okay. That it's like a tribute, because I don't know if you know this, but Primus has been doing for years full Rush sets. They were touring where they only played Rush songs.
Yeah.
They didn't play any Primus. So I think that's actually fair game. That if you want to say like, hey, let's have Pup do a tribute to Rush, because I know Zach would love that.
But not like what I just did with Thin Lizzy.
No. This is just like
assembling for a tribute.
It is a band billed as another band, like, but they're not going to be like, we are Rush. It's just like Pup presents a tribute to Rush.
Okay, well, Rush I have. So all right, I'm going to do that because I'm like, I only have one more replace a member tab in my on my game board or whatever. So Rush will be as Primus.
Okay.
Primus is Rush.
Because
Rush. There is no. I don't really know who I would put as Neil Peart, because I don't.
Can I tell you something?
Yeah.
And I'm gonna get so much hate for this. I'm a drummer. I love Rush. I would do Neil Peart hologram because you can't see a drummer. I love Rush. I love Neil Peart. First off, if you want someone to hit the notes, what better than a robot? Second of all, you can't see a drummer. It's really, at a big festival, you can't see a drummer. And the only way you're going to see a drummer is like when you're looking at one of those big LCD screens on the side and they're projecting it. And you know what? Show some archival footage. There used to be, I'm a big Flaming Lips fan, and the Flaming Lips did a big changeover in the 90s. Their guitarist quit and their drummer became their guitarist, and so they would play to videos of Steve Draws, the drummer turned guitarist. They would play to videos of him playing drums, and it was awesome because he was a great drummer, and they would have studio quality recordings playing in the background, and it's really cool, especially like some of that crazy softball and stuff. It was really, really cool watching those videos, and I would go see it live. So in my opinion, hologram, because also the best part about a hologram Neil Peart is that you can do like classic 70s like long hair mustache Neil Peart, and not like later Neil Peart who would wear like muumuus. Like he looked like Homer Simpson in like the episode where he has to get the special dialing wand to dial the phone because he's too fat. Not that I'm saying that Neil Peart was fat. I'm just saying that he wore shower curtains on stage.
I love that.
Yeah. So that's me. At your festival, it's Primus, which is interesting because you never really dug into Primus, right?
No, I've done neither. So they would still remain my just because I don't know them.
Yeah.
Really, I haven't dove into either of them. I have seen, we've been in front of Les Claypool before because when we were shooting The Punisher with Macedon, with Brand, dude.
What's this malarkey?
I still think he said "what the fuck" and it made me laugh super hard inside because he looked like someone who would say malarkey, but I think he just one of the weirdest, like the most well-known weird folks in the world saw me in a trench coat in front of a clown drum set with Braun, and he just went, "What the fuck?"
Dude.
But super funny. Yeah. So Primus is Rush, and they're going to be playing against someone, I guess, eventually. Last of my recently played, Botch.
Oh, hell yeah.
Fuck, I don't know how I'm going to do this.
Botch?
Because I can't do the reunion. I already used it for Van Halen.
You could do an entirely hologram set.
That's what I was thinking. Do I do that? Well, it's either that or I. All right, so yeah, Botch. I don't know how I would do that. I think I actually have to. I have to skip it. I think I can't.
That's okay. Don't worry.
I can't go backsies on Van Halen.
Yes. Spoiler alert, they're going to be playing My Festival, so you'll find out about Botch in episode 2. There's no way I'm skipping Botch.
The thing is, all right, I'm cheating because I know that Drew's going to have Botch at his festival, and I'm going to the Drew festival. All right, so my last one is John Carpenter.
Hell yeah.
John Carpenter.
Oh, man. That would be so cool. You went to that show, right?
Dude, it's so fucking sick. John Carpenter, dude, it whips. I love that he has had a career where it's like, like he never got like the recognition he really deserved as an actual filmmaker for filmmaking. Like everyone loves him, but he never got like a proper budget. He's constantly like, everything's a pain in the ass. So what his legacy has turned into is his music. And so many people, like, there's a million things that, like most modern popular music now has some kind of John Carpenter influence in it. And to see him doing concerts and shit, playing his themes and like original music that he's writing with like his son and his son's friend who just rips at guitar is super cool. And I think that that's exactly what he wants to do. Is like, all I want to do is watch basketball and hang out with my son and do a weird Running Man while my songs play.
What if he just like full blown break dances? Like he's really good at it. Like throws down the cardboard.
Do I have like a car or like a thing that I can use for this game to give him his knees back?
You know what would be kind of cool, actually? You know what? I've been to a bunch of festivals that have like interactive sections, you know? So it would be kind of cool if there was like a John Carpenter tent where like they had his movies playing or they had props from his movies on display. Just something extra to do, especially like when your friend is like tripping balls and you just want to have them sit down for a minute. Just something fun.
Yeah, they sit down on Christine. All right. So, I got. I haven't used a hologram yet.
You haven't used a hologram.
I have not. What I'm gonna. So I made it through recently played without doing that. So here's what my hologram set is. I want Bjork at my festival, but I want Bjork performing with a hologram of Bjork.
Oh my God. That's genius. I like that. That is a genius idea.
I think that she would do something completely fucking insane with it. I think Bjork with another digital Bjork is exactly what it should be. I think.
Hello, this is Bjork. I downloaded her off of Kazaa. Hello. I am a virus. I am taking over the government.
That's exactly what it would be. It would just literally turn into a fucking stage play.
Season 3 of Westworld. Love it. Great.
And then I'm putting Faith No More on there because I also because that means that Mike Patton can do some of the Mike Patton and Bjork stuff. I feel like that's allowed.
Mike Patton and Bjork did music together?
Yeah, dude.
That makes sense. I didn't know about it. What did they do?
They did like either like they have been on each other's albums, or I think they have an album together.
Yeah.
I have to check it out because all of that stuff I weirdly found via Kazaa.
Yeah, of course.
But I know that they have written on each other's album. They've appeared on each other's stuff because they respect each other, and it's cool.
You know, I like Mike Patton. I kind of am not super familiar with his career because one of those side effects of him just being like, I hate music, I'm going to try to make the most unlistenable stuff possible, is that you don't listen to it. And you miss out on a lot of good things. Like, I liked Tomahawk a lot. I liked Peeping Tom. I liked, obviously, Mr. Bungle and Faith No More. I've never listened to his opera album. I've never listened to this Bjork thing that I just found out about. But apparently I have heard him do like an impersonation of birds in video games, because I know he does that.
He does do that. The thing, you can't keep up with all of it. And honestly, I just want to hear some Angel Dust songs, and I want to see him interact with Bjork and Bjork's hologram.
What's Angel Dust? I don't know what that is.
Oh, Angel, the Faith No More.
Oh, I'm thinking of the band Angel Dust.
Yeah. I'm not putting them on there. They're really good, though.
Angel Dust is great. Yeah. I like them, and I like, what's their sister band? The dude from Trapped Under Ice, who used to play drums in that band, is their singer. What are they called? Turnstile, thank you.
Yeah.
Turnstile's dope.
They're very sick. All right, so here we go. Here's the red. All right, so yeah, I got 8 more other acts. I'm putting Aesop Ferg on the festival because I think he's fucking awesome. He's super cool.
Yeah. So wait, okay, so it's Aesop Ferg gives you a quick cheat that you may not realize, because if you have one member of the Aesop mob, you could have anybody show up. So who's he bringing?
I think I want to see 12E.
Okay.
I want 12E to show up. I know that no one else.
We're so white. I'd like to see 12E, and perhaps if they could finish by 9, I have to put my son to bed. Have you guys tried this spicy hummus? It's really spicy.
Oh, it's a little too hot for me. I like just red pepper, so I have the illusion of hum.
I love Israel.
I would do. Fuck it, they're all showing up.
Hell yeah. Those guys would take any excuse to go to Sweden.
Yeah, for sure. I want to see what they do in Sweden. I want to see what
they're gonna drink Heineken and eat hot dogs, as is customary.
There's also funnel cake. There's always funnel cake. Actually, always funnel cake is at every festival, we've decided. But
absolutely.
It's
written in stone.
Ant, Ty, Preach, Nast, they're all showing up. I don't know the other ones. I'm sorry. I gotta finish my college hip hop phase, I guess, one of these days. Baby Metal.
Hell yeah.
Baby Metal
would be dope. Baby Metal for sure. Yeah.
I think it would be super cool. Here's a weird thing. I'm not putting Mutoid Man or any of the adjacent projects on the festival because I feel like I don't want anyone to work right now. I don't want the obligation to have.
All right, this is getting into a little bit of a weird territory, but I think we have to preface that. Of course, we want our friends on our music festival, especially if we've got the money to get Van Halen. I would love to pay Mutoid Man enough money that they could, live. But I think for the sake of keeping an interesting show and for the sake of variety from episode to episode, we're going to be leaving off our friends. But they're totally on the guest list.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
everybody can come, but I'm not gonna. The only one who I think, Baisley is on the lineup, but that's because he's doing Thin Lizzy.
Yeah.
But all right.
I will say this: they don't count as friends if they don't text me for computer help. So no one from Baroness has texted me asking to fix their iPad, so they're fair game. But Mutoid Man, you're all out, and also download. Download Malware Bytes. It's going to help your Mac. It's going to go much faster.
For sure. All right. Yeah. So here's choice, my next couple, whatever. I'm doing double Cro-Mags.
Hell, but that counts as two.
Both.
Fuck
Both.
yeah.
Both
Twice.
versions.
Dude,
And they have to play against each other. And I want to see once and for all who shows up for more. I mean, I feel like more people are going to show up for Harley, but I think that it would be super funny.
I think you also at that point have to bring both the band Interpol and actual Interpol to show up and break up the fight.
Yes.
Yeah.
Fucking do it.
Man, that music video is so funny. Harley Flanagan. No, it's John Joseph in the music video, right?
Yeah.
The new one, John Joseph.
No, it's Harley.
It's Harley. Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, Harley. Yeah, John Joseph is the one that like looks like he is a Kennedy, but like fucked up.
Yeah.
And then Harley Flanagan, he's just like walking around New York City. He looks like the goon from that comic book, you know?
Yeah. Oh
and
my
he's
God,
just
he looks
walking around singing through his teeth. It's insane. If you haven't seen it, there's a new Cro-Mags music video in 2020. And there's this one shot of him walking down the street, and there's this like couple, this like older couple, and they stop, and the husband like puts his arm in front of the wife, and I really genuinely cannot tell if they were like told to do that or if that was just like a thing that really happened because Harley Flanagan was walking by with like clenched fists. You know, it's nuts.
I love that.
Yeah.
So, all right. Now we got Robin. Robin is on the festival.
Absolutely.
Gotta have her. I think I'm also going to I'm picking like a lot of people. I think I've only got like 4 more folks, right?
I wasn't counting, but
I don't care. I'm going 4
probably.
more. Whatever.
I'll give it to you.
Veller obviously. They got it. Yeah.
The show's in their backyard.
Yeah, they're playing. Give them. They get fire on their stage. I do want to see that.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm going to Judas Priest. I've never seen them.
Yeah.
I need I want something theatrical. I can't go see Judas Priest because of the current times. So yeah, Judas Priest is on this shit.
Dude, you know what I recently found out that I didn't know? My favorite Judas Priest song, The Green Maharishi or whatever it is. That's a Fleetwood Mac cover.
Oh.
Yeah, it's like one of those like weird gray area Fleetwood Macs, like before. I forgot if it's either before Rumors. It's like, you know, before what's her face and what's his face jumped in the band. I can't remember the American ones.
Christine.
No, not Christine. The other one. The Landslides and Edge of 17. What's her name? Stevie Nicks and the one, he's an alcoholic. He just got kicked out of the band. Looks kind of like Lou Reed. Can't remember his name. Anyways, it's fine. This is behind the paywall. I don't feel bad.
Don't care.
Do not care. It's a Fleetwood Mac cover, and it's awesome. That's my favorite Iron Maiden song. Jesus Christ, Judas Priest.
Judas Priest.
Judas Christ.
I'm not gonna put Iron Maiden on the festival, but not because I don't love them. I've seen them a bunch of times now, and this is my festival, so I kind of want shit that I haven't seen before.
That's fair.
I'm putting fuck it. I want some metalcore up in here for High School Me. Walls of Jericho going on.
Hot damn, Walls of Jericho, man.
Yeah,
they're
deep
good.
cut. They're really good. I fucking love them. I miss them. I want something that's like gonna bring out the High School Me, but in kind of in a way that surprises me.
Yeah. I saw Walls of Jericho a bunch of times, man. They put on a great show. And they're also, this is like going back to like 2004. I went to see them, and every time that I saw them, there was always a bunch of people there who had no idea that the lead singer was a girl, a woman. Yeah. Well, I mean, she was over 18.
Woman?
So. A woman. She was a Luoma, as we say in Italia. man, they kicked ass. It's so cool. I love Walls of Jericho. Hell yeah.
They fucking rule. And then I'm gonna finish things off with I want PJ Harvey. And that also opens the window, like she can bring special guests since all of her songs have special guests. So you can get a Nick Cave and a Tom York or whatever, because every one of her songs has a special guest. So she needs people. She needs
PJ Harvey Keitel. And that's it, right?
No, I got one more.
We got one more. Drum roll.
Here's the thing.
Mhm.
The hardest question is, do I do Misfits or do I do Danzig?
You know,
This is the biggest thing. That's the real question.
and you used all of your
I used my reunion for Van Halen's because that would be my other reunion is original lineup Danzig. Chuck Biscuits, John Christ.
So you don't have any modifiers left except for one. You haven't used your Andrew WK wild card. So you could do a Danzig, or as I would call it, a Dandrew W Zig.
Oh no!
But also you could not do that because no one wants to see that.
No one would want to see that ever.
Danzig is not about partying.
Fuck,
Let's
I
get
also
real.
want body count on this. Damn it.
Well, have you ever seen Body Count?
No.
Me neither. I say pick Body Count. Because you've seen Misfits, you've seen Danzig.
You know what? You're right. Body count. It's body count. I want body count.
Because you also open the door to everybody from Law and Order showing up.
So I actually made it through this entire jam. Oh, the album set. Robin does Body Talk all the way through.
Interesting. Robin does Body Count all the way through.
Yeah.
Self-titled first album.
Fucking sick.
Yeah.
I'm a cop killer.
But yeah, Robin
Where
does.
I'm from, we don't have cops. We are socialists.
Yeah, okay. Robin gets the album all the way through pick. So yeah, all right. My festival, finishing things off. So we got Every Time I Die. We got Sleigh Bells. We got Van Halen original lineup. Get Michael Anthony in there. It feels a little like a waste, but I don't fucking give a shit. It's my festival. I want Golden Harmonies. I want a man with a receding hairline and a mullet. And it's been that way for years. Yeah. Shania Twain. Guns N' Roses.
Yeah.
Horizont. Rush. Primus is Rush. John Carpenter. And then we got Thin Lizzy with Scott and Gary Moore, Troy Saunders on bass, John Baisley on vocals, and Joey Castillo on drums. Then we have the Aesop Mob Chaos set, I guess, because I was like, fuck it, all of them, bring them.
Yeah, why not?
Bring them in. Then we got Body Count. We got Cro-Mags dual set. Judas Priest, PJ Harvey. What else? Am I missing someone?
Greg Puciato.
Greg Puciato, Soundgarden. Right. Yeah. Yes. And then, fuck, who else? I think we probably we talked about a lot of goddamn people. Walls of Jericho.
Walls of Jericho.
And Rob Zombie, just being Rob Zombie.
Rob Zombie, yeah. You didn't spend your modifiers. Cool. That's a good festival. That's a good festival.
It'll be, yeah. It may, I think it's also, it made it easy that just like a lot of this. I think it made it easy to be able. Oh, and Bjork with Hologram Bjork.
How could we forget? Yes.
And Faith No More.
Yes.
So
Facebook presents Bjork Google Home.
Yeah. I'm going to make
Bjork.
a little playlist also for
the festival?
Of the festival. Yeah. There will be a second
that's cool.
Jordan's Boat, the festival.
Hell yeah. maybe we can do a thing like we had a fan do. We had a fan that made a playlist of all the songs we recommended on the podcast, the old podcast. Maybe we do a thing where it's like we do a festival podcast where we put music from everybody who's playing.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, and Primus Rush would play against Body Count. Because very specific audience. I feel like that's the most like, who the fuck is going to go to what? Because there would be definite fans for each, but I think it would be really fun. Because I would clearly just go watch Body Count.
I would go watch Body Count too, actually. You know, and I'll tell you why I would watch Body Count is because as much as I love a cover set, I think that doing just a cover set is kind of weird for your fans. I don't know. I've seen a lot of cover sets and most of them either do, you know, like one show and then another show, or just they do something to like bring their other songs in. I mean, I can't tell you how many like full album release shows I went to where they only did like the 5 best songs on the album. They're like, okay, now here's all the songs you really want to hear, you know? But yeah, I don't know. I do like Primus, and I think I would want to see a couple of Primus songs for sure, especially the zingers, you know. But actually, that's Primus's greatest hits album is called "They Can't All Be Zingers." No, maybe I don't know.
But yeah, you know, it's mainly because I would be curious to see who goes to what. I think that most people are going to see like Primus Rush because probably more like I have more rock at my festival, you know. I just do. I grew up like a classic rock kid. Also, of course, Velotalk is there, and they get pyro. So yeah, I think that's if we went one more on my recently played, we would have gotten Lizzo, which I think would have been a fun addition, but you would have
tanked your budget for sure.
I tanked my budget.
So wait, but we're missing. How are you gonna play Andrew WK? What's the plan?
My use for Andrew WK is he is going to be just doing a guest spot where he makes the hot dogs and stuff. He's just going to be at one of the hot dog stands because he would do that. He has headphones on, so you have to point at what you want on the menu.
I love it. That sounds great.
He won't talk to you.
He won't talk to you.
He won't
like
talk
Psycho
to
Vegas.
You. Like Psycho Vegas. Didn't talk to anybody, not even the audience who because there was no requests. He just
sunglasses on indoors.
This is what people will love. Just Andrew WK, a physical body not interacting. If anything, you know, made the rumors feel like it's a bunch of doubles true, it was that. It was Andrew WK doing nothing remotely related to partying except for technically being a DJ.
Yeah, I mean, technically being in Vegas is partying, but it's not the same thing. Yeah,
it is not the same thing because I guess like you being in Vegas, you just get the residual aspects of partying. I didn't drink the entire time I was there, and I was hungover on Monday.
Yeah. Well, Jordan, I think this is a really good festival. I would go to it. I think we're just about done. The only thing that we didn't really talk about is your exclusive merch. Ooh, what kind of crazy merch do we have?
Oh, yeah, because it's got to be like you got to have like most like the headliners got to have or like people got to have like themed merch to the venue that we're at and like or the town.
Yeah.
So since I'm probably going to put it I kind of want to put it I'm probably going to put it in Sweden, and it's probably going to be right on the edge because they do host like concerts there. I think I'm also just talking out of my ass. I don't fucking know what I'm talking about, but I would put it on the edge of where like the lake is or like the body of water that separates like Sweden and Norway. You can take like a boat from Sweden to Norway like pretty quickly. So I would put it like right there. So there would be so that's kind of what Jordan's boat is the boat from Sweden to Norway.
Gotcha.
And I would have a lot of nautical themed merch, I think.
Absolutely.
I think that would be sort of like the big thing. Like I would probably have like, because since Guns N' Roses is the big headliner, whether I like it or not, they are.
Yeah.
I would take their original design. I would take like their design where they have like the skull with like guns and roses or whatever, and I would put him in a little nautical hat. I would give him a sailor hat.
I like that. I'd buy
I
that.
would change I would change the gold ring that says Guns N' Roses. I would make that like one of the inner tubes, like a classic sailor inner tube, but it says Guns N' Roses like that. It would just look like a bunch of ship shit.
I like that.
Things. Yeah.
Could I make a suggestion?
Yes.
So I've been doing Coke all day. We're going to make $1 million. First things first, we're in Sweden. We're doing IKEA tie-ins. I'm talking about like Van Halen, Frankenstrat, Stripe, couches, you know. We got Bjork designed coffee tables. We're definitely going to have a line of flotation devices. I'm talking like like life vests. It's separate for body count, which are actually bulletproof life vests. So you can't get shot while you're drowning. Like in the beginning of Saving Private Ryan, when those people are getting shot underwater, not happening to you.
Love it.
Yeah. I think that's going to be it. I'll do some more Coke. I'll think of some more ideas. Let you know what we're going to do.
I want Shania Twain. I want, since it's like Norway and Sweden tie-in, I want not a cheesy one. I want like a really solid, good, well done, like Shania Twain black metal shirt.
You know what? I think in 2020 we got to make sure that women are supporting other women, and that's why I think Walls of Jericho, Shania Twain crossover.
Oh yes, I would love that.
They support each other. We got backing vocals on both sets.
Yes. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Dude, yeah. No, you can put a breakdown in that don't impress me much, and you should have like how like there's the Madball song where the Walls of Jericho singer does backing vocals, and it fucking rips. It will be kind of like the same kind of thing.
I think it would be funny also, completely unrelated, but if you have Cro-Mags versus Cro-Mags, I think you have to come up with different names for them. You know how there is like a flag, a black flag?
Well, there's Cro-Mags and then Cro-Mags JR or something, or like they have like the initials at the end of it.
Oh, okay. You're not Cro-Mags and Mo Crabs, because
I would love that.
I would be going to Mo Crabs, because if there's anything that I want, is more crabs. Especially if I'm in Sweden. Listen,
fuck it, it's my festival. The John Joseph Cro-Mags is more crabs.
Yeah, but the John Joseph Cro-Mags more crabs is not eating them; it's setting them free because he's
right. Yeah, yeah, for sure. It's you get it's just more crabs in the Cro-Mags font, and then it's just John Joseph hugging a crab on the shirt.
Yeah, I had to unfollow John Joseph on Instagram because, like, in between recipes for vegan lasagna, he would just post conspiracy theories and call people I like idiots, and I just kind of had to take a break from that.
Yeah, it's a lot. He's super aggressive. It is. Both of those dudes are the most just like intense. Like, man, being a vegan is so easy nowadays. You used to be back in the day. You had to get a bag of peanuts from a strange man.
Is Harley Flanagan? Is Harley vegan? Or
I don't think so. I
feel like they're like a Batman Joker kind of situation. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where they're just like they're both like meant for each other and should destroy each other upon contact, usually with a knife.
For sure. I feel like they're. Yeah, I feel like. Here's the thing about Cro-Mags versus Cro-Mags. I think we have a lot of people that are going to say they would go to the Harley thing because they want to pick chaos. Over like they want to like pick that set like but I think when faced with the decision we'd see a lot of cowards who would go back on that. They're like, I don't want to see I don't know if I want to see this guy who eats knives and shit.
No, especially because like this is a festival overseas, so anybody from Brooklyn who's going to pay that much money to go to Sweden to get the shit kicked out of them is someone you don't want to be around
Also,
when push
yeah.
comes to shove.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
All right, yeah, that is my
That's Jordan's
fantasy
boat.
festival.
Folks,
That's
I think
Jordan's boat, baby.
that's the end of our first episode of Festival Shmestival. Thanks for
Festival
listening.
Shmestival.
If you're listening to this, you're a supporter of our Patreon, and thank you so much. We couldn't do it without you. And I guess we should do plugs. Do we have to do plugs?
Do you do plugs on a Patreon? Yeah, here's the thing. If you sign up to the Patreon, you probably follow us on the social medias to get here. But yeah, if you didn't know, we have like no people on Twitter because we never use it. I never use it. But yeah, at 2M2LN, at 2 Minutes Late Night on Instagram. You're already on the Patreon. I don't know. This was fun. I had such a good time. We wanted to keep it.
Yeah, I learned a lot about Jordan. I learned a lot about myself, and I learned a lot about Sweden.
Yeah, for sure. We can talk more. I weirdly I love the setup of Sweden. It's calm as like a vibe, but like I don't know. Everyone's really nice. It's like
Sweden
Canada
cool.
Also. Just people are nice.
The first time I went,
too many white people, though.
Yeah, way too many white people. Just like your festival. Although I will say yours is pretty diverse. I don't think I would like mine to be, but I don't think it will be. But I'll try.
Well, I don't. What do we got? We got Shania Twain. We got the Aesop Mob. We got Body Count.
You got a good mix.
I thought I was gonna have Lizzo, but we ran out.
You got a good mix. I think so. I think.
Yeah, I just picked my favorites. It's my festival. I don't have enough. If I put more hip hop on this, I would be just making shit up. Like I would put like I know Thundercats. I know Drunk the album, but I don't know more than that. I mainly know his production work, and he's not just gonna play the production stuff. I don't want to be a poser. I'm just being honest.
Yeah, I mean, we're basing it off of our dreams and truly like, what we've been listening to. And sometimes you don't have that much of a choice of what you listen to. It happens. Someone sends you a link, you click on it, you're like, oh, I guess I'm listening to this now. And the next thing you know, you're talking about it on a podcast. Let's see where this goes.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I had a good time. This is fun. This was a good idea.
This was a good idea. We don't have to keep this. We can edit this out, but this was a good idea.
I don't care. This was fun.
For 19,
Fuck it.
Fuck it. We've had this idea for less than 24 hours. It made it up on the go. I am sweating bullets because I need to turn my air conditioner on. But this was good, man.
Yeah, this was good. All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye.